Why is the system so broken or skewed?
Well, a lot of it's just a lack of resources. If you make an application into the family court at the moment, you'll be lucky to be through the court in a year's time. And that really doesn't work. And if we're thinking that we've got kids that say are a year of age, in a year's time, they're 2 years of age. Half of their life has been spent while parents are arguing in court. Or if they're 3 or 4 years of age and they're there for 2 years, then they're 5 or 6 years of age. They're quite different people from 3 or 4-year-old to a 5 or 6-year-old. And if mum and dad haven't been able to get their act together and sort things out for themselves, and they're reliant on using the court to help them with that, it's difficult, and there aren't a lot of resources for the court system to try and hurry these things up. And there are some things which are useful. I'm also active in running parenting through separation courses. I'm active in trying to encourage people into mediation. I'm active in trying to have people see if they can work things out for themselves. It's not about rights and wrongs in many ways. It's about how do we get over ourselves as adults? How do we focus on our kids? And how do we do what's best for our kids rather than arguing about adult stuff with our other co-parent? There are also strong views in our community that perhaps the natural parent for kids, particularly for young kids, is a mum rather than a dad. But one of the good things about the Care of Children Act, which talks about, these things in the legislation that we look at in court, is that it says it doesn't matter what somebody's gender is. There should be no assumptions made about the gender of a parent as to who should be looking after their kids. And so often it's guys that have been their own worst enemies and haven't said, hey, look, I'm putting my hand up because I want to be an active dad. I want to be spending more time.
What rights do fathers actually have in New Zealand?
Okay, so when I first separated, we had the Guardianship Act. And the Guardianship Act was about parental rights and things like that. These days, we have the Care of Children Act. And the Care of Children Act says there is a paramount issue for all kids. And that's what's in the children's best interests and welfare. And that for parents, there are obligations and responsibilities. There are not rights for parents. So in the family court, they're looking at what's good for kids, not what's good for parents. And that's the way it should be.
So just to clarify that, that's the same for mums and for dads. So mums don't have
Absolutely.
more or less rights than dads.
Yep. So the Care of Children Act says that gender is not important to who should be caring for kids. And it also says that what's gone on in the past, that's kind of adult stuff, needn't be critical in caring for kids as well. So if somebody has had an affair, that doesn't mean that they are the bad parent and should be having the minority of the time because of that, and they should be continued to be punished for things like that. It doesn't mean that if they are a parent who has spent a lot of Saturdays or Sundays working because they were attempting to work on their career when they were together, that they can't take a new pathway as well. So that the past conduct of a parent should only be taken into consideration where it directly impacts about what should be happening for a kid at the moment. And kids don't need to know and shouldn't be knowing about whether mum or dad had an affair and that was the final straw that ended to the breaking of a relationship. They shouldn't know that mum or dad are arguing about child support issues because those are adult issues and they shouldn't be issues that kids are being exposed to.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mentioned earlier around visiting my dad. That was a big conversation piece that he would land on me every Thursday, was around the child support stuff. And it was just, like
you as a kid can't do anything about it. And it just is the way it is. Now, child support is a difficult and vexatious topic for both sides. One of the things that I would say is that kids cost money. It takes money to care and raise for kids. And we do have a rough and ready system in our Child Support Act, but it is a taxation act. It's the one area of family law that doesn't look at the welfare and best interests of kids. It basically says, here's a formula, we're going to apply the formula unless there are very exceptional circumstances, and there are ways that you can go about addressing those exceptional circumstances, but it's not easy. You've got to show a situation outside of the norm, and you've got to show a situation which is special in some way. It's not just that your kid needs to go to some ballet lessons and there are some minor costs about ballet lessons that a day-to-day parent might say, I want some more child support. Ballet lessons would be a pretty ordinary kind of thing to do, but something that might be outside of the ordinary might be that this kid's got a potential orthodontic costs of $8,000 or $9,000 coming up. And it may well be that a child support admin review officer is going to say, well, let's take that $9,000 and chop it in half, and parent A will pay half and parent B will pay half for that. And we can reflect that through the child support collection system.